For over 50 years, I have faithfully attended church. And looking back, many things have changed. Hairstyles, clothing styles, the width of ties, musical styles, the instruments that are used in the music portion of the service. But one thing has remained absolutely constant, and that would be the order of service. Now, upon arrival, you will be presented with this printed information, and no matter which church you attend, it seems like the order of service is going to comply with some unwritten standards that are out there. And while there is some variation, here's the essential ingredients of the recipe. It's going to be this size. It's going to be folded in the middle. Okay, and the outside cover is going to be about the church itself, that church that you're attending. And the inside page here will be the order of service, the actual events, order of events of this. And this page over here usually has announcements of upcoming events, a schedule of things that are happening. And the back page in many churches is going to have some standard literature that is produced by headquarters and printed on the back page. That's pretty much how it goes. Now, I have seen some rather innovative twists. I have seen perforated and scored tear-out sections, and sometimes those are used to register visitors or prayer requests, or sometimes you can tear it out and use it as like a bookmark in a devotional guide. And I commend these churches for their innovation. And the order of service has served us well, for decades, but I do think it's time that we took a new look. One reason I think this order of service has served us so well is that our services are so well ordered. Okay, you can almost set your watch based on what's happening during the typical worship service. Now, many churches kind of scramble the order, they may change a few things around the edges, but the essential ingredients are nearly identical. Now, here's how it goes at my church. We have 2 songs, and that'll be followed by a welcome time where we welcome and register, our visitors, followed by 2 songs, followed by a prayer, followed by a sermon from our pastor. And the sermon will usually have 3 or 4 main points around a central theme, followed by an invitation, so that people who want to make decisions to accept Jesus Christ can come forward and do that publicly, or perhaps move their membership to our church or make special prayer requests. And that would be followed by a special musical presentation. That would be a solo, duet, or a group. And we use, during that time that they're doing their performance, that's when we take the offering. And that is followed by announcements, generally delivered by a church staff member, followed by a presentation by the pastor of those who came forward during the events and sharing the decisions that were made. And then the pastor gives a final wrap-up, and that's followed by a closing prayer, usually done by a deacon. Now, does that sound familiar? Well, please don't misunderstand me. I'm not suggesting that we do away with the order of service, but it has become obsolete in so many ways. You see, we now have projectors that can display the information that's in the order of service publicly so that all can see it. People that come to church have these mobile devices. The information that is being displayed could be easily downloaded and retained by these mobile devices. And if it's on our mobile device, that means it's with us. Our cell phones go with us, like our keys and like our wallet, wherever we go. I can't say that about the order of service. Oddly, we use the projectors to display a slide saying, "Please silence your mobile devices." I sincerely believe we should be encouraging people to turn them on and engage in the worship service. You know, it's funny. I go to a retail store and I turn on my mobile device and they've got free Wi-Fi. And when I connect to it, my browser is automatically directed to their home page. I've never heard of a church doing that. What's wrong with us? You know, we could even have a live chat room during the service. People could actually make comments and get really personally engaged in the sermon. But I guess that would be considered a distraction, wouldn't it? Well, instead, we make people wait until after the worship service to discuss the sermon, and unfortunately, much of that discussion I would consider, well, gossip. You know, if we employed these tools during a worship service, we would have access to analytics, metrics, feedback, things like that. You know, we could actually measure what's working and what's not. And we could then adjust our programming so that we would have a goal of effectiveness, engagement. I'm afraid we might be afraid to know what those metrics show us. You know, at the end of the day, we're spending a significant amount of money printing these. And they're dinosaurs. And they have a very limited shelf life. That adds up to a lot of trees. I don't consider that very environmentally sensitive, and we seem to consider stewardship one of the important tenets of our faith. But I must admit, whatever form your order of service takes, I really suggest that you read it. Why? Well, yeah, I remember one Sunday my wife and I walked into church and we sat at the customary spot on our customary pew. And my wife customarily opened the order of service and began to read it. And she turned to me and asked me if I knew that I was preaching that morning. I didn't. But there it was in black and white. I was preaching that morning. So, as long as there is an order of service, you may want to take a look. You might be on it somewhere. Are you seeing this? Not this video. The vision. If you are, I hope you'll contact me. Let's share some ideas. Let's talk it out. Let's brainstorm. And if there's nobody in your church that has the skills to put this into place, I would be honored to help you do it. And that's what I think. But I'm very interested in your thoughts. And there's a lot of ways that you can hit me up. You can leave your comments down below. You can also go to and subscribe to my blog. The address is above, datagenesis.wordpress.com. This idea of an electronic church that reaches out across any boundaries, and the tentacles of which extend, in fact, worldwide. I hope your church will seriously go in that direction, but be advised that we're not waiting on your church. We're actually doing it already, and it's really exciting. You want to take a look. I really would love to share with you some more. It's open 24/7. There's a chat room, but there's a whole lot more. We play videos during that, and it's usually a blogger, a Christian blogger, an ordinary layperson like you, like me, mature Christian, men and women. And we also have tweet